I guess all of the listeners had found themselves, at least at one point, going in a shopping mall and asking themselves, well, where are the restrooms here? If we'll take that, and that's an orientation issue, right? That's an orientation challenge. Where is that? Whenever you ask yourself where is something, that's an orientation challenge. Again, I think from that angle, what we're trying to think is how can we solve not just for one audience or another, but from a universal design perspective for everyone.
Whether you're a first-time founder or a serial entrepreneur, learning never stops. The path to creating a successful business is fierce. Learning from those who come before you is extremely valuable. Welcome to the I Am Podcast for Startups. I am Mariah. Join me as we chat with innovators and entrepreneurs from building the idea from the ground up to scaling their startups across verticals across the world. Let's get started. So this is still Mariah, your host, and today I can't wait to have a fun and valuable conversation with the co-founder and the CEO at RightHear. Well, RightHear helps everyone, everywhere. We were just talking a while ago backstage. Idan Meir. Hey, Idan.
Hi, good morning. Well, good evening, wherever you're listening to this. It's the morning at 7 a.m. here, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Yes,
thank you
good
for
evening
inviting
from
me.
the Philippines. Yeah, you're in the U.S., so thank you very much for waking up early.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. I'm near Washington, D.C., and yeah, as I said, it's 7 a.m., very cloudy, cold outside, and warm inside. So I'm excited to get started. Thank you for inviting me again, Maria.
Thank you. My pleasure. Okay, but before we go to RightHear, we'd love to know more about Idan. So tell us more about you, your experience or your career, your personal life, if you would. Okay, go ahead.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I'm Idan. I'm 36 and 4 days. So my birthday is usually with the beginning of the year. And I'm married to Liat, and I'm a father of two lovely kids as well, Avigail and Rani. Avigail is 5, Rani is 3. I relocated here to the U.S. about a year ago with a very big mission of bringing RightHear Israeli success to the U.S. market. Yeah, I mean, my previous background was always around entrepreneurship. At the time, early on, I didn't even know to call it entrepreneurship or that I'm an entrepreneur. I thought it just projects I've been working on all the time. I have this project, I have that project. That was the type how I was described it at the time. Some of them wasn't businesses, some of them was non-profit initiatives, but they were always a mix of initiatives, projects. Today I can call it entrepreneurships or ventures. They were always mixed of social good or social value and some sort of a business creativity, I would call it. Yeah, so that's a very, very quickly. I studied business and psychology at the Open University in Israel. And I guess that's it in a nutshell. I can talk a lot about it myself, but I think that's going to be boring all the listeners. So let's move on.
Let's move on. Let's keep rocking. Okay. So I just remember when you said, like, okay, I'm not sure if I'm an entrepreneur, but I remember Eyal, like our founder, he said, okay, I just picked some fruits and put out a table outside the garage and sell them.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you were entrepreneurs by heart. Okay.
I had some different ventures like this, like really crazy, today ridiculous, even I would call them ideas of just trying to go out there and see what's the reaction with the market. I love the interaction between an idea and then how people perceive it, and maybe even actually completing it with a transaction. So that's what I guess drives me behind it.
Very startup.
Yeah, very, very much.
Very fast, moving very fast. Okay. So, wow. Later, we'd love to know the lessons building a startup with 2 kids. Okay, but hang on. So let's talk about.
I even have a word for this, by the way.
What?
It's a parentpreneur.
Parentpreneur. Oh, I thought it's like dadpreneur or mompreneur. Now
Oh,
it's
yeah.
parentpreneur.
Yes. Well, my entrepreneur is Tamar. She also been here on one of your episodes, Tamar. So this is her term. I want to take that to the dead, but yeah, absolutely.
Parents. Shout out to Tamar Shapira. Yes, she's
Yes.
been in the show, and I promise like to guest more female founders. So
Yes.
wait for it.
Yes. They're doing
Okay.
an incredible job as well.
Yes. Hashtag accessibility, diversity, equality, inclusivity. Right? Did I
Yep.
get it right?
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
Okay. So talking about right here, right? So for visually impaired. So first, please talk to us more about this problem. How big is this problem?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. To get into our world of right here, usually begin with two really unbelievable facts. One is specifically here in the U.S. There are over 100 million Braille signs. Wherever you go, you find these Braille signs. It doesn't matter if it's a small restaurant or if it's a big airport, hotel, hospital. They're all around us. And usually you find them in elevators and restrooms. So there's a lot of Braille signs out there. So this is the first fact. The second fact is that, and most people don't know it, is that over 90%, even 95% of the blind community cannot read Braille at all. So it's left us, yeah. Did you know that, Maria?
No.
No.
I thought they
Yeah.
all learn how to do it.
So no, not at all. The majority, again, over 90% cannot read Braille at all. Those who do read Braille are having a hard time to find the sign. Obviously, you need to know where the sign is to be able to actually read it, right? And those who are lucky to find the sign not necessarily want to touch the sign, especially in the past 2 years because of COVID-19. So all in all, it's not effective, to say the least. And when you ask these audience, this community, so how do you go out and about in the world? Their answer is always with somebody. It could be a mother, a father, a friend. They can do incredible things, by the way. People, for those listeners who might, think that this disability is just too big and they cannot do anything, and so this is completely wrong. I know firsthand a lot of people from the blind and visually impaired community can do really incredible things from, coding, programming apps, right? Not just using apps, but actually programming the apps as coders, all the way to copywriting, to skateboarding, whatever that is. Like whatever you have in mind. Most certainly, that also a person who's blind or visually impaired could also do. But when it comes to the basic task of going from one point to another, that's become a challenge, and a lot of times they ask for someone for help. So that's a problem. That's a problem for both sides. One is for the user, for the person with the disability. By the way, we'll be talking probably mostly about people who are blind or visually impaired, but bear in mind that there's a lot of other audiences with orientation challenges that could be cognitive. Like I usually give an example of dyslexia. You might see a sign with a lot of text, but you might not necessarily able to read it because of dyslexia, for example, or some other cognitive issue. That could be even mental. And I can even go all the way to language barrier, right? If you, Moria, do you read Hebrew by any chance?
I wish I could.
Right. So there's some location in Israel where you'll walk around and you'll see only Hebrew signs. That would be difficult, probably, for you to find your way around. So it could even go, when you're talking about orientation challenge, it can even go to just language barrier. So that's a problem for anyone with orientation challenge, but it's also a big problem for facilities who's looking to, expand their market as much as possible and provide the best customer experience as possible, as well as complying with ADA or accessibility regulations, depends on the market. So that's basically what we're solving. That's the problem we've been addressing.
Oh, I love that. I mean, I am not physically or with
Cognitively.
eyesight challenge, but I love this because I have poor sense of direction and orientation, and I need this just an app telling me where everything is, how to go around, right? So
Exactly.
yeah, it's not just for, as what Shapira termed differently abled. So I love that. I mean,
Think about it just like someone is whispering in your ear where you are, what is there, what's around you. That's obviously very helpful for people who are
Very.
blind or visually impaired, but it actually helps anyone else. One of the reasons I got into this is because I believe it could also help me. I'm always getting lost wherever I go. Knowing, like hearing in my ear where I am, what is there, what's around me, could really help me in different situations. So absolutely.
see, we have eyesight, good eyesight. Not so good, not so perfect 2020, right? But yes, we need this.
Yeah.
Okay. And you said, I was about to ask you, is anyone in the family who has this impairment or something? But you said it's you.
No, well, I don't have any visual impairment, but I tend to get lost very easily. My grandfather, in the end of his life, turned to be blind, but it wasn't really the reason. I was always thinking, like, if I could help myself get acquiring better orientation, that will make my life better. And when thinking about it, we thought, okay, who has the most severe orientation challenges? We came to realize it's probably the blind community. We started to talk. Like today, I have so many friends within the blind community, and I feel like I've been part of it forever. but the truth is, I got into this just through the technology and the work we've been working on.
Wow, what an impact. Okay,
Yeah.
so if I am visually impaired, how do I use it?
Yeah, or whatever other
Yes.
user, you can just download the app. Yep, you can just download the app. It's a free app. Completely free app, both Android and iPhone. We spell it RightHear, RightHear, here like hearing, so you can hear where you are. It's a free app, as I said, both platforms. You can use it. By the way, there's no signing in, or we get no information about you, not even your name, email, or there's no signing with Facebook or anything like that. So there's no. It's completely anonymous. You can just download it and start using it wherever you are. It gives you directions and information, first GPS based of wherever you are. And then when you get into a RightHear enabled location, this is a place where we mapped and we put our technology into. Then you'll get the same or similar experience as you would have outdoors with GPS, but now in an indoor environment where obviously GPS isn't available. So for example, I'll give you the McDonald's example. We work with all of McDonald's in Israel. You can find the app in the app that McDonald's is accessible. Maybe I would say before for the listeners who might be asking themselves right now, hey, how would a blind person even use an app, right? It's all a touch screen. There's no tactile, no braille there, right? So although we covered already that braille isn't necessarily would be the solution, but so basically in all of the devices you listeners are right now listening with, whether if it's Android or iPhone, if you'll go to the settings, you'll find accessibility, and there you'll find something called voiceover or talkback. That's basically a screen reader software embedded in the device, which basically read aloud everything that's going on the screen. So you can, together with that, you can basically use any app, RightHear included, but that could be WhatsApp, Instagram, TikTok, whatever that is. You can use it, and obviously it's been used by everyone, including the blind and visually impaired community. So with a similar screen reader experience, our users basically find the relevant location, as I said, McDonald's, for example. When they tap on it, they can simulate that location before arriving there to kind of build a mental map of the place before going there. It's helped to increase the confidence of where you go. Then the app going to ask you, how would you like to get there? We have integrations with Uber, Lyft, and other public transportation apps, or you can just navigate there with our GPS navigation experience. And once you actually arrive, in this example to McDonald's, you'll get basically 3 or 4 main answers. One is, where am I? So you are at the main entrance to McDonald's, blah, 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 wherever that is. So this is, where am I? Secondly, what is here? So like, for example, in Israel, we sometimes mention that this one is kosher, this one isn't, or the open hours are Monday to Friday. So where am I? What is here? That could be, by the way, in different locations, different things, right? And then what's around me? No matter where you point with your smartphone, like 360 degrees around you, it will let you know what is there in what distance. So in this direction, it's the counter. This direction is the exit, or restrooms in 20 feet, things of that sort. I would say I can stop. I mean, obviously we have a lot more features than that, but I can stop here and basically say that, ultimately the goal is to provide independence to our users on the one hand, and on the other hand, increase the market, improve the customer experience and the compliance of accessibility regulations to the facility. In this example, it was McDonald's. So it's a classic win-win situation for all.
Yeah, it sounds very, very cool. But what are the challenges? Like you said, okay, they have to point it. Like, it's like dependent on the Wi-Fi internet connection, right? So
no, not at all. Actually, so there's no internet connection needed at all. No Wi-Fi or GPS or anything like that. In an indoor environment, we're currently using iBeacon technology, which is basically Bluetooth-based technology. So I can show you here. We basically sent to the McDonald's restaurant like a small kit, which I'm now holding, and in it, they will be able to find a small device, beacon device. This is how it looks like. It's in the size of a matchbox, if you will, with a sticker. You stick it on the wall or on the ceiling, the relevant points of interest in the restaurant. No electricity needed. It has batteries inside. Nice. It's a plug and play type of thing. And once you get near to it, then we'll be able to pick up all the data and information to provide it to you. So
cool. So what are your challenges then?
Yeah. So our challenges, sorry for getting too techy. So basically our challenges, I would say our challenges is awareness. A lot of time people not thinking about this audience at all. And when they do, they tend to think, okay, we probably don't need that. There's not a lot of people. So I guess that was one of our challenges. Happily, I think we're addressing it pretty well. One of the beauty things happening here is that every new location that joined us usually very gladly, happily, talk about it. And that helps us to link to another one and another one and another one. So we truly, consider our customers as our partners. We really partner with them and with the community. A lot of the locations come through a user who has visited a hotel, for example, and it was having hard time finding his room or whatever that is, and then he contacted the hotel and asked, "Hey, you should talk." So I would say it's a really together type of work with the community on one hand and the business community, I would say, on the other hand. It's a challenge, but I think we're addressing it pretty well.
Wow, congratulations! And speaking of locations, when will it become available in the Philippines?
Good question. I think we might even have one location. Not sure. I should check with Rachel. So we have Rachel from our team is working in the Philippines. So for over 3 years. So Rachel, you probably would say 4 or 5. I don't remember. So forgive me for that. But we're very happy to work with Rachel.
Interesting.
And I should check with her if we already have or not. But our main focus, to answer your question, our main focus right now is the U.S. or North America market, Canada included. And up until a year ago, most of our focus was completely Israel. So.
Okay.
Yeah, there we've done a lot of. I have a long, name dropping list. A lot of brands, international brands, have been already working with us from different industries. So the goal now is taking this reference from Israel to so many other locations around the world.
Wow, and I think people now are into impact, right? So it's a very good way for brands, right, to show inclusivity and, like what you said, diversity, equality.
I completely agree with you. I'll just say, I think for me, impact is always so natural and so kind of given with what I'm doing or what we're doing. So yeah, it obviously created a social impact, but I believe, and we see that firsthand in the past few years, it's also created a business impact, equally in the same row, in the same breath. Yes, you're helping people be more independent, but yes, you're also helping your business doing better. from different metrics. So for you business owners who are listening, it's not just for a do good type of thing. It's also a do well for your business type of thing. So, yeah.
Yes. Wow. What a win-win. So first, before you said it's like so welcomed in Israel, right? So can you share your first user or first customer story? Yeah.
Yes. You know what? I'll share this story because it has some sort of a lesson for entrepreneurs out there. I guess there's a lot of them listening, right?
Yeah.
So when we just started, we obviously met with a few potential users from the blind community. One of them was Tali, a good friend of mine still for today. She's completely blind, and we want her to experience the app. We've made different tests on the app. We wanted to test and give us some feedback. So we went to an auditorium. They have over like 300 seats in the auditorium. And we played that beacon I mentioned before on one of the seats. All right. It was, I think, row 20, seat 5. Okay. And we wanted to know if Tali will be able to find her own seat in the auditorium. Okay. So we played that beacon on the seat and asked her to try it. And there were some people at the auditorium, so everyone were all looking into the seat. Is she gonna make it? Would she be able to sit in the right seat, right? And she started to walk, and she eventually sit down at row 10, but seat 4, like just one seat next to it. And everyone was, oh my God, this is so almost the right, out of 300, it's pretty precise. They were all clapping, and then a lot of excitement. We were excited as well. And then we thought, hey, so if we want to provide this experience, now we need to have a beacon in all of the 300 seats in the auditorium. There's no way the auditorium will be able to pay for this. It's a lot of technology to put in place. So we realized we have to make some changes. And therefore, from the entrance to the auditorium, just giving you the row, and then in each row, describing how many seats are in that row, and things from that sort. I mention this story just because sometimes, as entrepreneurs, you get it with an idea, you test it, it makes sense, it all looks great, a lot of excitement but from the business's perspective, when you get into the business angle of it, you realize that there is challenges there as well. So it's not just about the technology or the product that you're developing, but also the business model and the scalability of what you're building. And I remember that as a great lesson for us to always work with both audience and see from both perspective what could really work eventually, or what would be just a great test for the lab, right? So. Is that answering? Is that the type of story you were looking for, Maria?
Yeah, well, that's a very interesting story. I would love to connect with you, Tali. You're one great user. Yeah, well, it's interesting. Wow. Okay, and like what you said, okay, for entrepreneurs, yes, innovators, right, and of course, startups. It's really valuable. Think about that.
Yeah, make sure everyone, all the stakeholders within it are involved, and customers. Of course, right? So in that story, we didn't really involve the customer eventually, which is the facility, the auditorium. So, we've learned from that and obviously made a lot of changes in that an inception type of story. Yeah.
All right. Do you have any more lessons about or message about inclusivity, diversity, equality, accessibility?
I'm pretty sure Tamar probably covered that as well. Universal design. People tend to think that assistive technology is for people, like in our case, it's for people who are blind or visually impaired, and that's it, and ends of story. So it's all. But the way we think about it, and I think we're not the only. It's actually a new, I think, mindset in the market. Is universal design, meaning yes, we are trying to solve some challenge for this audience, but in the same breath, this challenge isn't unique to this audience. It's a challenge that we all face in different ways. I guess all of the listeners had found themselves at least at one point going in a shopping mall and asking themselves, well, where are the restrooms here? Right? We all had that point. If we'll take that, and that's an orientation issue, right? That's an orientation challenge. Where is that? Whenever you ask yourself, where is something, that's an orientation challenge. And yeah, some of us have it more than others, but at the end of the day, we all have that challenge. So what again, I think from that angle, what we're trying to think is how can we solve not just for one audience or another, but from a universal design perspective for everyone. Yeah, so I guess that's from an accessibility or inclusivity standpoint.
Yeah, so yes, yeah, cool how you will make this one available not just for visually impaired, but this year, right, for a variety of people or maybe for everyone, right?
Yeah.
So if everyone or anyone wants to explore, navigate, and experience this product, how can they connect with you?
Oh, easily. So first of all, email, that would be best. So my email is Idan, Idan, at RightHear, hear.com, just like our website, right-hear.com. I'm always responding. Sometimes it takes me longer, but I'm always responding. And we are definitely looking to be in touch with anyone who has, first of all, feedback, ideas, as well as some sort of help from the user perspective to the facilities perspective. I used to say that if we want to get there, so to get, when I said there is like our vision, our big vision, our mission of making the world more accessible. So if we want to get there, we need to work together. And I kind of like this play of to get there and together. If you want to join this, anyone who's listening, please contact us.
Nice. To get there, I mean, accessibility, we must go together. And I have seen one of the, is that commercial? But it's on YouTube, like, right here. And then the visually impaired person says, McDonald's is right here, like HERE, right here.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
so
that's the point of the tricky name. Yes, it's right here. So
cool name.
Yeah.
All right, wow. 30 minutes is really short.
But yeah, Moria, thank you so much for the opportunity and for you listeners who listened. It's an exciting journey, and thanks to you, even to you, who's helped us putting this out there. As I say, one of our challenges is awareness. And you're helping us to increase the awareness. So I highly appreciate that.
A pleasure. And #Dadpreneur. I wish you all the luck. May the Lord bless you. And right here, all of your team, right? You also have a visually impaired developer, right?
As well, we work very closely with the visually impaired blind community. So yeah, absolutely.
All the best for 2023.
Amen.
Thank you so much for listening. If you learned something from this episode, kindly give us a follow and leave us a rating and review on Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Okay, share the I Am Podcast for Startup show with someone who would benefit. And if you are an early stage or high growth startup, would love to support you and partner with you, you focus on innovation and growth, DevOps on us. Okay, please feel free to check out www.iamops.io. I'd love to hear from you. Send me a quick email at may@iamops.io. Thank you again. See you on the next episode. Take care.